Howdy everyone. I am up underneath my fuselage and I'm working on the forward fuselage area. So this is the bulkhead, this is the firewall here. So this is the front of the airplane. And then of course as you go back, that's down along the back or to the back of the fuselage. Of course, it's upside down as per the instructions. And I'm working on fitting this brace here on the forward section of the fuselage. Here is the bracket. I forget what the part number of this is, but you have to make two of these L brackets, and those dimensions are given on the prints. It's just a piece of aluminum angle that you cut to shape and you pre-drill it. And then you have to match drill it to this angle here. So what I had done, I had taken this piece of angle and it's already pre-formed on this end because it has to step up over this flange. I've fitted it on the fuselage here and I cut it to length, and I've already got a couple of holes match drilled on this side to the skin. And I've got some holes on this end here match drilled to the skin. So this has been located. And then I had to locate this piece of angle. So what I had done initially with this clecoed in place, and remember that this is pre-drilled, I went ahead and I pushed this up against the angle, and then I pushed it back as far as it would go, and then I clipped it, I held it in place with one of these little 1-inch plastic, a 1-inch plastic clamp. And I'm trying to do this one-handed because I'm holding the camera, but I basically just clamped this angle in place like that. So it was up against here, and it was back all the way, and it's being clamped against this piece here. So I did it just like that, and then I took a 7-inch drill bit, 1/8 drill bit, and I went up through the pre-drilled hole in this bracket. I went up through that pre-drilled hole, and like I always do, I gave this some turns to mark the location on this piece. And I took the whole thing down and I drilled this hole, clecoed everything back in place, put this cleco in. Now this cleco is holding this in place. At that point, I removed this, and then I was able to come in here with the drill bit to the second hole, and again give it some spins to mark the second hole location of this piece onto this piece. So that's where I am now. I marked it, took everything apart, drilled it, came back, and I've got this piece clecoed. I've got this piece clecoed to these two pieces. And now I have to drill the hole. There's a pre-drilled hole in this that attaches it to this piece. But obviously you can't see that from this angle, from inside the fuselage. You have no idea where this hole is. So here's what I'm going to try. I have some basically needle nose type of vice grips. I'm going to come in here with the vice grips, and I'm going to vice grip this piece to this using these. So this will be clamped in here like this. At that point, I can take this cleco off, take the clecos off the skin and move the skin out of the way. And then from the outside, I can come through the hole that's pre-drilled in here into this. So that's what I'm going to try now. Let me get that set up and see how it looks. All right, everybody, I am now outside the fuselage, and I'm working on this bracket here, this angle. My clamp idea wasn't working because I couldn't get the clamp in here to hold it tight enough to keep it from moving. So what I decided to do while I was inside the fuselage, I had this in place, clecoed to the skin, everything clecoed in place tight. I marked a couple reference lines marking the edge of this bracket on the bottom here and on the top here. So then I took the clecos off, came outside of the fuselage and took all the clecos off of the skin all the way back to the 704 bulkhead. So there are no clecos on this skin, so I can peel it back. So now from the outside, I went ahead and put a cleco on that piece of angle that's underneath here. I went ahead and put a cleco on it here. So that piece of angle there is clecoed at that far end. So now at this side, if I can hold this skin back and the camera, now all I have to do is line up my reference lines that I had made with this bracket. So if I move this up and down, I can find my reference lines, position this where it needs to be in reference to the lines, and then I can mark that hole. Now that I have the hole marked, I can go ahead and drill it. Actually, I guess at this point I could probably clamp this in place and drill it. But that's the next step. So let me do that and see if I can get this whole thing back together again. Alright, I'm back underneath the fuselage, and you can see where I've got this clecoed now here. And I don't know if this will show, but you can see my reference marks that I was talking about. I made a mark here and a mark here, and then I carried those marks around to the other side of this angle, and then I was able to locate this roughly between those marks so I can drill this hole into this piece. And then I've got everything clecoed back together on the outside. I've got everything clecoed back together here on this aluminum piece. And this hole was not perfectly aligned with this one, so I used this 12-inch bit, this 12-inch drill bit on a regular drill motor, and I was able to kind of bend that drill bit into here and match drilled these two pieces. So now they fit the way they should. So at this point I can go back to the outside and I can drill through the skin and mark the rest of these holes for this piece. And then I'll take this off and drill all those on the drill press. Alright, so that works. It may not be the best method, but it does work, and I'm able to move on to other things. Alright, I'll talk to you later.